read all of them. I'm like, I like this one, I like that one. So I picked, there's all different rhyme styles, so that's why I picked a bunch of different ones, because I've changed. Like, I used to love to rhyme. If it did not rhyme, it was not a poem.
Okay.
And then I realized that that's
crazy talk.
It really is. You know, you can actually make a poem out of anything, and I've kind of pushed that envelope there.
Okay.
So, I have to do this one because I was thinking about you.
Okay.
You'll know as soon as I read it. It's called I Apologize. You remember this one. You'll remember it when you read it. Okay. When I read it. I wanted to apologize for all that I've done wrong. I've made so many bad mistakes and I've failed you far too long. I can't help all the crying. The stress is taking its toll on me. I direct this poem straight to you, a 16-year-old Lakayta E. All of your hopes and dreams I allowed to get away. Instead of moving forward in the past, I chose to stay. No college degree like some of your friends because I just wasn't feeling school. But every time someone graduates, inside I feel like a fool. No taste of independence that so tease you in your sleep, all because moving out on your own was a promise I just couldn't keep. No wedding bells or frilly things or releasing of white doves, but you and Adarius are still together and very much in love. So many goals go unchecked while others go unwritten. If I know you like I think I do, you would consider this forbidden. I've failed you for far too long, and I want to make things right, because if I don't, I never will be able to sleep at night. I'm writing this poem from myself at 23 to let you know that I apologize to 16-year-old me.
I do remember that.
Okay.
Yeah, you read it in class. Yeah, that would. Yeah.
And then you said to write another one.
Yeah.
So I did.
I love that it was that you used your own name in it and you were apologizing to yourself. I was like, oh,
I felt so bad and
yeah.
I felt like a big failure, and that's why I wrote that one.
But that gets your feelings out, like
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Okay.
So now I wrote. You accepted.
Oh, love it.
I wanted to apologize for all that I'd done wrong. I felt I needed to explain for failing for so long. I knew that deep down inside I owed you an apology, so I took the time to write to a 16-year-old me. I wrote about your hopes and dreams that I allowed to get away, but you would be so proud of me. I'm moving forward every day. The college degree that I did not have took me 21 months to receive. I'm now the owner of an associate's, and sometimes it's hard to believe. As far as independence goes, I prayed to God that He would keep us safe. In 2009, we moved out on our own, and all it took was a leap of faith. It wasn't white doves or frilly things, but a wedding thrown out of surprise. No one at the barbecue was the wiser, but it brought joy to our witnesses' eyes. No longer do goals go unchecked. In fact, the list keeps getting longer. I'm not the same person that I was before. I've actually grown much stronger. I stopped being a failure years ago when I turned my shame into success. I've found that I can breathe easier, and I'm no longer bothered by the stress. So here I stand at 27, hoping that you accept my apology. I dedicate my triumphs and more to a 16-year-old Lakayta E.
Love it. They're like balanced, together. Oh, I love it. Yeah. That reminds me of the end of Two Kinds. Remember when the girl comes back and plays the two parts of the two songs balance each other?
Yeah.
That's kind of what you did. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember that.
Yeah. And one, they were like two parts of the same whole as those two songs. That's great. Yeah. That's like the older, more mature person talking back. Yeah, that's great.
I had to write it because you said
I challenged you.
Yeah, you did. You did, and I take my challenges
seriously. There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, so let me read this other one. That way I can get this out the way. My mom's favorite poem forever is called My Imaginary Friend, and I wrote that, I think I was a teenager. I'm not included, so I feel secluded, and I don't know what to do. So I sit down when no one's around and I write my thoughts to you. The pain inside whittles at my pride, but I'll never let anyone see that I'll sometimes cry, sometimes wish to die because I don't have any choice being me. But even with you, it's sad but it's true that you are not even real. You're not even there. You're made out of air, a friend that no one can steal. But every day when I have something to say, you listen and just let me vent. A friend in need is a friend indeed, and I'm still not sure what that meant. So I'll swallow the knots and write down all of my thoughts until I can summon you again. When no one is home and I'm all alone, I'll call it my imaginary friend.
That is very cool. For a teenager to write that I love, because you didn't really necessarily rhyme the N-word, but that middle part has that rhythm to it. I love it. Knots and thoughts and stuff. Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, we've all felt like that, haven't we? Yeah.
I think was there another one? Oh, I guess this other one. Trusting only me. I don't believe in what people say unless it's there to see. I cannot trust in anyone unless I trust in me. Because I know that this is me, I will never put me down, lie to my face, stab me in the back, or kick me to the ground. I'm tired of the trust thing. I couldn't do it, but I tried. At least by trusting only me, I guarantee the safety of my pride. There aren't any shades of gray, just only black and white. I know the truth. I trust the truth. It helps me sleep at night. But no one understands why loyalty is gold, so now when someone tells me something, I'm cautious of what I'm told. Maybe when times are different and no one is the same, I'll trust in someone besides myself, but for now my trust remains.
Wow. Yeah. That's powerful.
It's
Definitely.
lonely.
Yeah.
It's the grown-up version of imaginary friend.
Yeah.
But it's, it's what you were feeling. Yeah. You get it down on paper.
Okay. I had to take a break so I could go into these ones. This one is called Emotional Ink. My pen and I are connected as one. Where the pen is like my breath. If my ink were to completely run out, I would die an emotional death. Writing has always been my release, a pen and paper my guarantee, to express the feelings I held inside where there wasn't anyone around to see. The ink is my blood and the pen is my body, while the paper is the clothing that I wear. But sometimes I feel like I've gone outside naked because when writing it's my soul that I bear. All of my soul comes out onto college roll paper like being pregnant and having a vomiting spell. It shows that I'm completely human inside and that I'm not just some soulless shell. So if who I am is a problem to you, then keep on going and leave my paper alone, because the emotional ink that spilled out of my pen is just proof of how much I have grown.
Love it. Great imagery.
Very
Emotional
great.
ink.
A little too much imagery for me.
It.
Thanks.
The vomiting, yeah, for you. That's true. That I really like that one. Yeah, and that's who you are. I mean, that's emotional ink. It's not just your average ink, right?
No, it's not just
you use it.
words.
Yeah, that's great.
Sorry. This one does not rhyme at all, and I was debating on reading it, but
We like things that don't rhyme too. Yeah. Free verse, right? Free verse.
It's called Something Like a Drug. Music. It's something like a drug for me. Harmonic melodies that stimulate my mind, stimulating my mind and reaching into my soul. These melodies feel as if they inject themselves into my bloodstream and flow directly through my veins. A euphoric feeling begins to flood my mind. My head feels light and the world seems to tilt on its axis. My pulse quickens and my breaths are short. Every nerve in my body awakens. My eyes lose focus as I retreat into my happy place. There I stay until the music stops, floating, drifting, feeling stress-free. But before I allow these feelings to fade, I play another song, feeding into my body's urgency to feel that euphoric feeling just a little while longer. Accidentally binging sometimes because it feels too good. Nothing else can make me feel like gravity is non-existent. There's no better drug than the one I'm using right now. I cannot explain it, but music is like a drug for me.
That's cool. I like how it's like injected into your body.
It does. It feels
everywhere.
like,
That's
you
cool.
just
Yeah.
gotta keep, then you turn it up.
Yeah. Yes. Definitely.
And the last one that it was hard to decide which ones. It was hard. So the last one I stuck to my guns about was, it's called Untitled, which is weird because I don't like untitled poems. But
Okay.
in there. I'm one step closer, yet two steps back. All I did was blink my eyes and everything flew off track. I don't even know where everything went wrong. I don't know if I can take much more, but I'll always remain strong. I can't keep pretending to be something that I'm not, and though on the outside I've grown, inside I've lost a lot. My pride and my soul both have seemed to fade away, so at night before I fall asleep in need of strength I pray. I ask that God remember me as I launch into my prayer, and when I feel like I am completely alone, I know that God is always there. Many minutes later, I end my prayer and say amen, but God knows me better than I know myself, and knows I'll be back again.
Oh, that's an awesome ending to it. I love that. That's good.
Because I always come back when I pray. No, I mean, I do. Like, my mom was saying this, like, one poem in here somewhere. And I was talking about being greedy with prayer. My mom's like, well, that's what prayer's for. You can't be greedy. And I'm like, well, then I'm going to eat as much as I can have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That is so great. Can you give us all, like, just some, advice or tips on writing and getting things out, like, along your whole life? Like, did you feel like, anything that would help us with that?
One thing that I have come to learn on my own, and it's probably just because I, make up my own rules half the time, is if you're a writer, if you become a writer, if you're thinking about writing, it does not matter how you write. Because there's some people that say, you can't do that. No. As time goes on, you can do whatever you want. If you write it down, you can call it a poem. If you write it down, you can call it a short story. I'm working on a couple novels myself.
Alrighty.
But you can do whatever you want.
A couple is true.
Don't let... Because I got intimidated a couple times when we started taking the class, because there was a lot of poems that I didn't even know about, and then I went, and when I was doing, whatever class I was taking. And I looked up other poems, it's like a whole bunch of other styles, so I kind of sampled all of those, and then you think, oh my gosh, that's not how you do it. And then, like, haikus are about nature. Well, you know, the New Age poet writes a haiku for anything. I got, like, 10 in the back of my book. So it doesn't have to be about nature. You know, don't let everybody's conventional styles intimidate you. Just write about it. On my phone, I keep a notepad because I'm the poet that thinks about the line and dreams about the line and writes about the line, and in the middle of a conversation, I'll pull it out and start typing about the line. You know, you can keep a notepad, you can keep your phone, whatever. But if you think about something, write it down, or just like say it over and over again, then remember it. And then it doesn't matter how it comes out, because ultimately, like, you're not writing for other. Myself sometimes lately with the second one, because I was like, oh, I don't want them to not like that, but it's not about them. You want to touch a reader, you want your reader to feel what you're feeling, you want them to connect with you. But when you're writing to express your emotions, you're writing about yourself. That's what ultimately you're doing. If they can relate to it, that's even better. But you're just doing it for yourself.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, don't write for an audience.
Right, exactly.
And so many times you have to write for an audience that you're, you know, in class, in school, if that was your job, like to write advertising or something, you have to write for an audience. But poetry is so personal. It really is just you. Yeah. And when you get the whole thing out on paper, how do you feel?
Well, I have a more recent example. I feel great. About a month ago, I was diagnosed with Bell's palsy, so the left side of my face was, you know, not working, and I'm kind of vain, I'm not going to lie. And it hurt, and so I was trying to be positive because I'm an optimistic person, but after a while, it was doing so much because it was a lot of things that tied into that was affecting me, and I'm like, you know what, this is too much. And then I cried for like a day and a half, and I had a private pity party because I don't believe in public ones. And then it dawned on me, you need to write about it. And so I did, and I wrote a poem, and actually it's on my phone, and I did a video, and I put it on YouTube, and my mom's like, well, Kata, you know, your healthy eye looks like something's wrong with it. You know, you're unhealthy, because I had a chameleon blink, so one eye would blink, then the other eye would blink, so they're
I came up with that.
Oh, okay.
But once I wrote it down, and then once I wrote it down and watched it, then I went about my business, and after that I felt fine. It didn't bother me. I didn't have any issues. I went, you know, I kept a smile on my face. I had a smile on the inside because I felt better. I didn't, you know, the reason it was bothering me is because it was like pent up inside.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Once I wrote about it, it was like, whatever, you know, if my face falls off, I'll just keep it in my pocket and keep on going. It was weird.
You look great. It doesn't look like anything.
I was blessed.
Yeah, it's
some
all
people.
Yeah,
I know it sucks. I won't be able to call her Bells anymore.
Yeah, they totally it was hard to be really. It was hard to feel sorry for yourself when you have Ashley saying, "Oh my gosh, don't drink that, you have Bell's palsy," or my mom saying, "You know, your face is sliding down your shirt," and my brother talking about, "Get your face out your pocket." You know, it was hard to feel sorry for yourself because you're too busy laughing. But it actually helped me get through. But
that's really great. Yeah,
it feels good once you.
She threw jokes back. I called her Bell. She called me Sel.
Yeah, she was only 15 minutes pregnant.
Right. There you go. There you go. You crazy rhymers.
You know, but it was. Writing is so. It's just perfect.
Yeah. And even, you know, I think you made a good point that you started by saying if you've always been a writer, if you want to be a writer, if, you know, really maybe that hasn't been something that you have done, but it could really be something to strive for.
I mean, like, they're all really, really good. So, you know, even if they just dabbled every now and again, you know,
I know, aren't they?
Yeah.
Weren't those just amazing poems, really?
She might not remember where she started, but from a little advice of a person who remembered my beginning days of writing poetry, it's pretty much like, because poetry is emotions, it's like whatever you think. Like if you say, I feel really sad and really bad today, write down, because sometimes that is the beginning of, you know, you write down, you're like, and I also, and you know, you start to write, and maybe tomorrow you write about something different, but if you write about those emotions, that's where they come from.
Exactly.